I love wearing builder gel on my natural nails, and if you are struggling with doing overlays on them, then make sure you stay tuned because that's what we're going to jump into. What's up, nail crew? It's Nicole, your fellow nail obsessed DIYer. This is going to be all about builder gel, and we are doing builder gel in real time today. I'm going to show you how I remove an old builder gel set, and then in real time, I will show you how I apply the new one. So I sped up the removal a little bit just because I wanted to make sure I had enough time to really focus on doing the builder gel overlay. So I like to use a coarse safety bit, and it's a carbide bit. It's Pana. I get them off Amazon. I've been wanting to try some like fancier nail drill bits. That is on my to-do list for 2025. So make sure you stay tuned for that too. I'm going to be testing some out. I like to go in and just file down a majority of my builder gel. So I wanted to do a full new set because I had messed with my shaping a bunch of times. And even though there wasn't any lifting, there was just growth. Well, there was a teeny bit of lifting in a couple areas where I yanked off my dip powder real wildly. I really wanted to file majority of my builder gel off to just like kind of start fresh. I have my Efile at anywhere between 20 and like 24,000 RPMs to file off my builder gel. If your builder gel or any product is not coming off fast and very easily, like you should barely be skimming the surface of your nail and your products just be flying off, then you probably don't have your drill at a high enough speed. I know it sounds really scary, but using your drill at a higher speed, it actually allows you to like barely touch your nail and the product just fly off. So that's what we want with our builder gel. So I filed down a majority of my builder gel to start. And then what I like to do to like go in with my cuticle prep and nail prep is I like to first push my cuticles back before I go in with my sanding bands. So I like to use these little sanding bands. I got them from Melody Susie. I'll make sure I link everything that I've used in this video. I'll link it in the description. Sometimes I forget to say that and forget to say what I'm using. If I ever forget, because I'm super forgetful, just let me know in the comments, and I am happy to give you any links that I may didn't talk about or forgot to say. So I go in with these little sanding bands, and they are great for getting really close to your skin without shredding it up. Now, I did season this sanding band, so what that means is you just run it along an old hand file like real quickly so that the edges of it aren't rough around your skin. And I go through and I file my builder gel a little bit more because I still have a tiny bit left on my nails, and I don't want to ever use a coarse bit close to my natural nails. So I go with these sanding bands, file it down a little more, remove any lifting. I start to get some of the dead cuticle off my skin if there's any on that. And then I also use this sanding band to prep my natural nails back where there's any new growth. So it's such a great little band. I used to use bigger bands, but I've realized that for me, I really needed like these smaller bands. They work so much better for me. Some people might be able to work with the bigger bands and do great, but for me, the smaller ones just work better. You know, bigger isn't always better. Every time I say things like that, I think of The Office and obviously Michael Scott. That's what she said. Anyways, back to nail prep. I like to use this McCart cuticle bit and go around just like right around the edge of my nails where my cuticle is and make sure that there's no the cuticle or anything left on my nail plates. And I'm super careful with this bit, even though it's really, really gentle. I've really tried hard to be careful with going too far like into my into my cuticles, into my skin. You don't want to go so far or like cut anything off that you'd be cutting off live tissue. So I try to be really, really careful. And what I like about this bit too is I kind of just like can go alongside my skin as well. I was testing this out. My hands are so dry. I just use this bit on my skin as well to kind of like remove some of the dead skin that was on there, some of the rough skin. My hands are super, super dry pretty much year round. I have to use a lot of cuticle oil and lotion to keep them looking nice. And in the videos, I don't really get concerned about that. Like my hands look super dry and my skin does. But you know what? I'm not trying to go for aesthetics in my videos. I'm trying to teach you like what's going to help you learn how to do your nails the best at home. So we're going to jump into doing the builder gel in real time. And after you finish all your prep, you wipe off your nails with isopropyl alcohol. I actually like spray my gloves too to make sure that I don't have any dust left on my nail gloves as well. Then I go in with my with my 2 prep products. So I use a dehydrator and I apply that to 5 nails. And then I go in with a primer, and the primer you want to etch into your nails. So what that means, etching it into your nails, is like you're scrubbing the primer into your nails. You don't want to flood your cuticles or your sidewalls with the primer. You just want it on your nail and like give it a nice little scrub in. I do 2 passes of the primer. So I go thumb to pinky dehydrator, then thumb to pinky first layer of primer, and then thumb to pinky second layer of primer. If you're using a true primer for gels, it should leave a sticky residue behind. I know some companies call their bond primer a primer bond, and sometimes it can actually be dehydrator. What you want is your dehydrator should be the product that like takes all the oil and residue, anything that's left off your nail, and like dries it out, dehydrates it. And then the primer or bond, whatever the company calls it, that should be the product that leaves a sticky residue behind so that gel can adhere to your natural nails. Most people do need a layer of gel base down first before they go with builder gel. But for me, and there are some other people too that I've talked to over the years, for some reason, gel base just lifts on us, so we can't use it. We have to go right in with builder gel. Now, what you want to do when you're applying builder gel is you want to first start off with a slip layer. And a slip layer is a really thin layer of the builder gel that you apply over your entire nail. And that's like the base for your next part of your application. So you don't cure the slip layer. You actually want to leave it uncured. It is just so that you can get a bigger bead of builder gel and apply that to your nail, and it glides down, and that's what you use to, build your apex. So I picked up a bead of builder gel and started back towards my cuticle. You don't want to go all the way back at the back of your cuticle. You just want to start like towards the back portion of your nail, and then you kind of push some back towards your cuticle and float it down your nail side to side. Once you get that part down, then for me, what I started to do is I started using a thin nail art brush to really go in and do the detail work. So I use that thin nail art brush. You can use a real short one like I use in this video, or you can use a longer one if that's what you're more comfortable with. I found for me using a short thin nail art brush actually works better because I feel like I have more control over it. So I go in and I make sure that the builder gel is down on my sides and it's not, flooding my cuticles or my sidewalls. And then I also make sure that my apex looks good with that little thin nail art brush. So flipping your hand over is going to, or flipping your finger over is going to help you build your apex naturally. And that's like where for me it begins. It starts a little bit with your application, and then when you flip your hand over, your nail over, you really make sure that that apex is going to the correct place. Sometimes I do try to scrub the slip layer in to my nail. This mani that I did, or this builder gel overlay that I was doing, I was really tired when I was doing it, and it was like right at the start of when I was getting sick. So I kind of just was flying through it, not being as particular as I normally am, trying like to really, make sure that I'm doing all the things that I want to do. So I did this one a little bit quicker. And the nice thing about having short nails is that you don't have to worry about your apex so much. So my hands are really huge. I know I say this in some of my videos, so if you're new here, my hands might not look it in the videos, but they're actually really, really big. So when my nails are really short, it's hard for people to tell because they're always like, your hands look, your nails look so long. Well, they're like barely over the edge of my fingertips, but my hands are huge and my nail beds are long. So everything looks way longer than what my nails actually like feel like to me. Anyways, that's just some like background about me. If you hear me talk about like why my hands look bigger or something like that. So my nails do have a little bit of a natural apex to them. And what that means when we're talking about apex is the apex should be the highest point of your nail enhancement. And that's going to provide your nails with like kind of like a safety net. So it's going to give them the security and the reinforcement that if your hand hits against something, or you bang your nails into a wall if you're clumsy like me. I've been known to do that. I actually broke a nail on vacation once, somehow smashing it into a wall, which like no one was even around me. I don't know what I was doing. Anyways, so the apex should be that highest point, and that's what reinforces your nail. If you do not know where your apex needs to be, what you can do is you press on the tip of your nail without any product on it, or even if you just have a little bit of builder gel left on, and wherever you see like a white spot start to come up, that's where you know you want your apex to be. So that's where your highest point should be. That's going to provide the reinforcements to your nails, the strength that your enhancement needs to stay on and not break as easily. So this is why you see me when I'm doing the application and floating the builder gel back and forth down my nail. And I mainly focus like on the middle of my nail and then just drag it down towards the tips like you see me doing now. That's to build the apex. And I do it a lot more carefully when my nails are longer because, you know, as your nails get longer, you really need a stronger apex since they're longer. But now that my nails are short, I just do a small apex, you know, not as worried about it. And as my nails grow, since I use this builder gel, my nails grow like crazy when I keep it on and then use cuticle oil a lot. But my main focus here is just to get that little bit of an apex going to make sure that no builder gel is flooded down into my sidewalls. And that's what I love about this little brush is like if you put too much in one area, you just take your little nail art brush and move it around to the spots where you need it to be. Now, something that I didn't say much in the video so far is you definitely want to, after each nail, like when you start to get it to the builder gel to where you want it, you flip your nail over, and I try to flip it over for like 5 to 10 seconds. Sometimes it's not as long if I'm, you know, continuing to use that little nail art brush to move the builder gel around. But for sure, before I go and I do my flash cure of the nail, I make sure I really flip it over and leave it there for like a solid 10 seconds at a minimum. So I've started like tapping my fingers sometimes just to make it a little bit faster because I have no patience. And then you want to flash cure each nail 5 to 10 seconds before moving on to the next one. So the flash cure is to like freeze the nail into place. You did all this work to get your builder gel where you want it, and doing the flash cure allows it to stay in that place as you move on to your next nails before you get to your full cure. And you definitely want to do that flash cure because what'll happen is if you just, you know, let the builder gel go, it'll eventually start to seep into your sidewalls. And then one, you'll have to use isopropyl alcohol and an angled like cleanup tool to wipe off all the gel that gets into your sidewalls, you know, kind of like I do like as I'm working on the nail, but you'd have to do that way more and have to fix every nail versus just doing a flash cure in between. So once all my nails are done with the builder gel, then I do a full cure for, I actually started doing 90 seconds just to really make sure that it is fully cured. And I do my pointer through pinky together, and then I do my thumb separately. So why I do my thumb separately is because I tend to hold it at a weird angle, not just me, everybody. Your thumb doesn't sit flat when you have it in the lamp like your other four fingers do. So I do my thumb separately, and then I do my other four fingers. Once everything is fully cured, I like to let it cool off for about 30 seconds before I spray my nails with isopropyl alcohol and wipe them off with a paper towel. I typically use a paper towel to wipe them off because there's just a lot more stickiness from that dispersion layer that the builder gel leaves. So I like to use a paper towel and really make sure I'm wiping all that off before I go in and do my buffing. And since my nails really are like, you know, the shape that I want them, like I didn't apply anything, too wild. I was like, even though I was moving fast, I was decently careful with how I applied it. So what I like to do is just go through and buff them super smooth. I rarely put a gel top coat over my builder gel. That's because I like to use peel base in between my builder gel, and then mostly I do dip mayonnaise. Every once in a while I'll do a gel mani or a nail polish mani, but like I would say 98% of the time I'm doing dip powder nails over top of my builder gel. all of my products that I'm using here, like the builder gel, the hand files, the flexible files, all that is from OG Dip Powder, and those will be linked in the description too. I like to use a hand file just to make sure that my shape looks good after I applied the builder gel. Make sure that there aren't any areas that got like a little bit too thick that maybe I, missed a spot fixing it. So that's just what I like to do at the very end. Do a gentle like touch up of my nails, of the shape, and then just buff really, really smooth with that flexible file that I have. If you don't have a flexible file, you can also use a buffing block. My hands, like I said, are just really big. The flexible file is just a giant buffing block. If you're watching and you're like, Nicole, I need more than just this video, I also have a huge Builder Gel 101. It is the ultimate guide to applying Builder Gel overlays at home. It's 48 pages. I go through everything from prep to application to removal. There is absolutely no gatekeeping. It's like having every single one of my videos in one place. And if you're ready to learn more about Builder Gel, make sure you check out this next video as well. Thanks for joining me today, Nail Crew.